Hey y'all, it's Tia with Tia Travel Tales, and today I am sharing my journey through Cartagena, Spain, a city filled with beauty, history, and Mediterranean charm. We kicked off our Panoramic Cartagena tour with this gorgeous view from the ship, then hopped on the bus to explore the city. Our first stop was Cartagena's main square, Plaza del Ayuntamiento. The star of the square is the city hall with its silver dome and carved details. It's stunning in person, with palm trees lining the sidewalk and a clear blue sky overhead. The buildings around are more muted in tone, shades of tan and soft pink, but they still carry so much character. From there, we headed into the Roman Theater of Cartagena, which is the highlight of the tour, and I was blown away. We entered through a museum built right over the ruins. Inside, we passed ancient statues, marble fragments, and beautiful mosaics from centuries ago. It's wild to think all this dates back to the 1st century BC. This theater was hidden beneath the city until the 1980s, just buried and forgotten for years. Inside the museum, the experience unfolds slowly and beautifully across multiple levels. The museum is built on a slope, and as you move upward from one floor to the next, each level reveals a deeper layer of Roman history. The first level starts with preserved artifacts, which includes pottery, tools, and fragments of statues, which are everyday items used by people who lived here 2,000 years ago. You will see decorative carvings and a piece of ancient columns that once supported the Roman buildings. As you continue up to the next level, the museum transitions into a larger room, full marble statues and architectural elements that shows the craftsmanship of the Roman era. Every floor is like turning a page in the history book. I loved how each space felt intentional, dimly lit, with just enough light to focus your attention on each piece. By the time you reach the final level, the museum opens up, and that's when you realize it's been guiding you towards something bigger. As we move through the museum, you can hear the sounds of echoes, and boom, the whole theater just opened up right in front of you. Rows and rows of seating, built out of stone, built right into the hillside. It could hold over 6,000 people in its prime, and the way it's preserved today is just incredible. The semicircular tiers of seating is known as cavea. You can still see how the seats were divided into 3 horizontal sections, each one reserved for different social classes. The closer you were to the stage, the higher your status. The stage itself was grand, once decorated with columns, statues, and painted panels. Even in ruins, you can imagine how lively it must have been during performances, filled with sounds of music, drama, and cheering crowds. What struck me most was the sense of symmetry. Everything from the stone seating to the arches and walkways. The Romans really knew what they were doing. This was a space where people came together for art, stories, and community. After the theater, we walked back through the square to meet up with our group. It gave me another chance to soak in the colors, the flowers, and the local life. Cartagena is small, but it's full of character. People were shopping, chatting, and taking pictures, and I took my time enjoying the vibe and getting ready for this scenic drive ahead. The walk gave me one last chance to take in the charm of Cartagena's city center. I passed by the city hall one more time and couldn't resist a few more pictures. It was a short walk, but it felt peaceful, like the perfect moment to reflect on everything we had just seen before continuing to the next stop. As we leave the city center and head towards the coast, this part of the drive really lets you take in just how dry and rugged Cartagena landscape is. You'll see hills in the distance, winding roads, little towns tucked away, and all of it's backed by the endless Mediterranean blue. Cartagena might not be as flashy as cities like Barcelona or Madrid, but it has layers, literally and historically. This city was founded over 2,000 years ago by the Carthaginians. Yep, the same folks who gave us Hannibal. the general who famously rode elephants across the Alps. Wow, right? Then the Romans came in and they left their mark all over the city, from the theater to the baths to the street layouts. That's part of why it feels so ancient and grand, even though it's a smaller city. One thing that surprised me was just how quiet and calm it felt. I've been to a lot of tourist spots where it feels like you're just rushing from one thing to the next. But this drive, this part, it gives you space to breathe. You get to see the coastline opening up, and it's just a chance to reflect, daydream, or just soak it all in. I remember thinking during this ride, travel like this is a reminder that beauty doesn't always have to scream at you. Sometimes it's just a dusty road, a breeze from the water, and a view that makes you feel something you didn't know you needed. And by the way, if you're the type that usually skips the bus excursions, trust me, I get it. As we got closer to the coast, I started imagining what would it be like to actually live here. How neat would it be to live in one of these little villages overlooking the Mediterranean Sea? Not forever, but maybe just a season, for a few moments of peace. Waking up to the ocean air, walking down narrow streets with no real rush. Maybe learning Spanish from the neighbors over morning coffee. Life will move slower, simpler. No meetings, no alarms, just the rhythm of the seas and whatever the day brings you. I could shop at the local markets, cook fresh food, and maybe write or read or just sit outside and listen to the breeze. Maybe take a walk along the cliff and watch the boats come in and out, and end the day with the sunset views over the Mediterranean Sea. There's something healing about places like this, where your phone doesn't matter, where nobody's competing, and the time isn't in control of you. I felt it just riding through here, that deep exhale your soul takes when it finds stillness. And maybe that's what makes these coastal towns so magical. They remind you that you don't have to always be chasing. Sometimes just being is enough. After about an hour, we reached the final stop. This iconic lighthouse is called Faro de Cabo de Palos. It is located near La Manga del Mar Menor. This was built in the 1800s, and it still stands strong on the cliffs facing the Mediterranean like a guardian of the coast. Just below the lighthouse is a scenic beach where the cliffs meet the calm shallow waters of Mar Menor. The waters were clear and calm, and the wind was light, and you could see the city skyline way off in the distance. I didn't swim, but I did get my feet wet, and I just stood there for a minute taking it all in. Something that I noticed, and it reminded me of Barcelona, is that topless sunbathing is completely normal here. I noticed women, topless, and even children. It caught me off guard at first, but I quickly realized this is just part of the culture. No one was staring, no one was judging. It was just normal beach life in Spain. This was one of the most peaceful travel moments where everything slows down and you're just present. A little sun, a little breeze, and a new perspective. So my day in Cartagena was filled with a little history, a little nature, and a lot of beauty. Thanks for coming along with me on Tia Travel Tales. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.